Caught my wife of 5 years cheating on me on camera for months. Served her divorce papers as an anniversary gift. I haven't seen much of my son this year. I couldn't have him for the summer because of this damn virus, and that alone has me boiling. Then, at the end of September, I found out my wife, my partner of 5 years, has been cheating on me. Since then, I've been in full FBI mode, trying to piece everything together. It's like opening a can of worms that has no bottom. She's still living in my house, acting like nothing's wrong, while I have to sit there and pretend like everything's normal. I want to throw every piece of evidence in her face and kick her out, but my lawyer keeps telling me, not yet. I haven't slept in my bed for almost 2 months. Once she's gone, I'm burning that mattress. No intimacy either, none, which she's twisted into accusing me of cheating. When she tries to hug or kiss me, I have to sit there and tolerate it, but every touch makes my skin crawl. Just looking at her makes me feel like I'm staring at something crawling with bugs. I want her out desperately, but it's always, not yet. I'm running out of patience fast. It feels like being stuck in a giant echoing room with one table, and the only other person starts tapping their finger until you just want to flip the whole damn thing and scream. I can't talk to anyone about it. Not yet. I'm mad at myself, ashamed even, for putting myself in a position where this could happen to me again. I just want it over, and I miss my son. Some good news. Finally. I was Skyping with my son earlier when my ex-girlfriend happened to pop into the frame. She looked at me and said, I looked like hell. I told her I'm in a rough spot, that I miss my son, and I feel totally alone right now. A bit later, she called me back and invited me up for Thanksgiving. I was thrilled. Now I just have to fight with my wife about why I won't be going with her to her parents' house for the holiday. But I don't care. I'm leaving at 3 a.m. It's a long drive, but it's 4 days I won't have to see her. I haven't been in the same room with my kids since April. I'm not missing this. Got to my ex's place around 10:30 last night. Gave her a call to see if she was still awake. She was, in the kitchen, cooking like crazy for today. Told her I was out front, sitting on the porch. Her husband came and let me in. He doesn't look great. He's lost a lot of weight. We sat at the kitchen table and he told me I looked like crap, and it wasn't just from the long drive. My ex said, "Spill it." So I did. I told them everything. Literally everything. And I broke down crying while I talked. I haven't cried since my cousin called to tell me my mom passed away, almost 11 years ago. Just pure frustration pouring out. But man, it felt good to finally vent to someone I didn't have to pay by the hour. We chatted a little more about how things have been going for them. Honestly, not great. They offered me their couch for the night, and I crashed hard. This morning, I was woken up by their 5-year-old daughter trying to suffocate me with a teddy bear. A little later, my son woke up, saw me, and shouted, "Da!" before wrapping me in a huge hug. I really needed that. Last year, he decided he was too big to hug his old man. They hadn't told him I was coming, so it was a surprise. I'm in such a good mood right now. I know it's temporary, but I'll take it. I still need to call my in-laws and apologize for not making it to their house for Thanksgiving. They're good people, and I feel bad. They have no idea what's coming. Just to give some context, yeah, I've been spying. My wife's browser history shows she hasn't touched Reddit in 6 months. At this point, I honestly don't care. I'm just white-knuckling through this right now. To anyone who found out their spouse was cheating and managed to stay quiet until the final moment, until they handed over those papers, I admire you. This is brutally hard. I got back home late Sunday. It's a 1,400-mile drive. Honestly, I was glad. I didn't want to talk to her or even see her. I was exhausted, so I went straight to my recliner and knocked out. I haven't slept well in 2 months. I've dropped 15 pounds. I look like a wreck and feel even worse. But that night, I finally got 8 hours of real sleep for the first time in what feels like forever. Monday, my wife tried to initiate intimacy, but I just couldn't do it. I can't bring myself to feel anything for this woman anymore. Physically, everything works just fine. Trust me, my guy's up and ready before I even wake up most mornings. So it's not a physical issue. For once, my body, mind, and heart are all in perfect agreement. That upset her, and it led to a heated argument. I told her maybe something was wrong with me. After all, I'm 50. This kind of thing happens. She didn't buy it. She started suggesting, again, that I must be cheating. She told me I'm not being a good husband, that I haven't slept with her in over 2 months, haven't said I love you in just as long, so I must be doing something behind her back. She tried to gaslight the hell out of me. Well, yeah, I was doing something behind her back. I was investigating. I was putting the puzzle together. My D-Day was September 25th. I work in collision repair, mainly on vehicles that are totally wrecked. That day, I cut my leg open working on a truck, ended up in the ER. Got 5 stitches inside, 34 on the outside. It was a bad one. They gave me some heavy painkillers, and there was no way I could drive, so I called my wife. No answer. Waited 5 minutes. Called again. Nothing. Another call. Still nothing. I texted her. Babe, pick up. I need you. Call me. Still no response. More texts. Still radio silence. After about 90 minutes of trying, I gave up and got an Uber to take me home. As we turned onto my street, I could see her, standing in our doorway, kissing the general manager at her job. And this wasn't a little peck. This was full-blown, open mouth, hands on each other kissing. She was supposed to be at work. I pulled out my phone, snapped a couple photos, and told the driver to keep going. I didn't say anything, just sat back in the seat, stunned. I had him drive me back to the shop. I sat in the break room for 4 hours, head down on the table, completely numb. My heart was shattered. When the meds wore off, I drove home in pain, physical from my leg, and emotional from everything racing through my head. She wasn't home when I got there. A couple hours later, she came in, acting all worried. Maybe she was, maybe she wasn't. I honestly don't know. I asked how her day went, and she gave me some total BS about work. I didn't say anything, but I knew she was lying. A week later, I found out she hadn't worked a Friday in 3 years. I'd never really used Reddit much before this. It was just there. But after all this, I started searching for advice on dealing with cheaters. That's how I ended up on this sub, along with YouTube videos and forums. I just needed to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. I kept reading all these red flags other people posted, and I just kept thinking, yep, that's her. That fits her perfectly. Always on her phone, always texting someone, but somehow never able to respond to me. She had no clue until last Monday that I had been sitting in the ER 2 months ago, calling and texting her non-stop. She hadn't even looked at our chat log once. She started yelling at me, saying I needed to be a better husband, that I wasn't doing enough for her. I lost it. I grabbed my phone, opened our chat log, and shoved it in her face. I showed her every single unanswered call and message. I rarely raise my voice, but this time I yelled. I told her that the one time I needed her, really needed her, she ghosted me. She pulled out her phone, looked, and then just walked out of the house for a few hours. When she came back, she apologized, and then lied right to my face. Said she had a tough day at work and must have missed the calls because she was so busy. No, the truth is, she didn't see those calls and texts because she was too busy sleeping with her boss in our house to check her damn phone. Since that day, I've been digging. I've gone through her phone, laptop, iPad. I found one of her old iPhones and realized I could access almost everything from there. I even installed cameras in the house. I've been watching her cheat on me in real time for 2 months. Let me tell you something. I used to think Apple products were for morons, but cheaters might want to start using Android or something because Apple syncs everything. I've also come to realize it's not that she merely disliked my son. She hated him, probably because having him around during the summer disrupted her freedom, her lifestyle. But here's the part that still makes me sick. The affair wasn't some recent mistake. It's been going on for years. And it wasn't just her boss. One of the men she's been sleeping with? Someone I've worked beside and trusted as a friend for over 14 years. She works with his wife, and that wife? She's been helping cover up the affair with her boss. They were the ones who introduced us. They watched me propose. They were there at our wedding. They let me marry this woman while knowing damn well she was already cheating on me. I know of at least 4 men. 2 of them I know personally, 2 I don't. And they've had sex with her in my bed, on my couch, on the kitchen table where I eat, in the shower. These guys even used my soap to wash their junk. I once went up to my property, where I hunt deer, just to get away for a weekend. I invited her like I always do when I leave town. She declined, like always, and while I was gone, I watched a damn parade of men come through my house and screw my wife. She didn't even shower or clean herself between 2 of them. Disgusting. Yeah, there's a camera in the bathroom too. Same thing happened when I went to Chicago for Thanksgiving. She spent the entire weekend screwing other guys in my home, in my bed. For 2 months, I kept all of this bottled up, until I finally told my ex-girlfriend what was happening. I've been wearing this mask of calm, but I'm this close to completely losing it. I nearly confronted her so many times, but instead, I just swallowed the lies she fed me. Hell, I even apologized for one of our arguments. I told her I'd book an appointment with a doctor for my supposed erectile dysfunction, and then I found the text she sent to her boss, calling me a limp loser and saying she couldn't wait for Friday. This is not the woman I fell in love with 7 years ago. I'd like to say she's just evil, but honestly, I think she's got serious mental health issues. Probably a sociopath. Whatever she is, I didn't sign up for this. It was hard for me to ask her to marry me in the first place. After my first divorce, I struggled to trust anything nice a woman ever said to me. I pushed away 2 incredible women in my life because I was still mentally wrecked from my first marriage. Not even just from the relationship, but from what came after. That first divorce ruined me. I walked away with $43 in my pocket. No home, no car. No tools for my job. No financial support for my family. I couch surfed for 3 years. Every penny I made going toward alimony and debt payments. I was 22, and my life felt completely over before it even began. I spent my 24th birthday drunk, sitting on a friend's couch, crying with a gun in my mouth, because I didn't have the courage to pull the trigger. That day, I swore I'd never forget the lowest point in my life. I've kept that same $43 in my wallet ever since, as a reminder. I'm not saying I'm at that place again, but I feel close. Yeah, I'm smarter now. I've protected myself better. But that same emptiness is creeping back in. The first time I caught someone cheating on me, it was the old school way, coming home early from a trip and walking in on it. But back then, it was over right away. She couldn't deny anything. There was no room for lies. The gaslighting then? Her screaming, "It's not what it looks like," while I lost it and beat the crap out of my brother and his friend. Yeah, that blew up my divorce in court. Big time. But at least everything was out in the open. This time around, it's been a slow, torturous drip of deceit. Every day, holding it in, getting lied to constantly. Even when there's no reason to lie, she still lies. I swear every time I blink, she's on her knees for someone else. Let me be absolutely clear. I do not love this woman anymore. There is no fixing this. I've emotionally checked out. Our anniversary? It's on Pearl Harbor Day. That feels fitting, because I promise she'll remember that date. I'll make sure of it. But time feels like it's crawling. Every second stretches like an hour. I'm drained. Constant headaches. All the years of therapy, all the progress I made, it's like it's all vanished. I had her served yesterday. For those asking why I didn't post about it sooner, I just wasn't in the right headspace. Honestly, I'm still not, but I need to get this off my chest. I got up early, left the house before she did, grabbed breakfast, and waited for her to head off to work. Then I rented a truck, came back, and changed the locks. My friend and his wife showed up. He even brought another buddy to help, and we got to work. We packed everything. The bedroom set I'd bought her as a wedding gift, the couch, the dining table, all the places she'd twisted with betrayal. I couldn't bear to look at them anymore. We loaded it all up and dropped it at a storage unit. Out of my home, out of my life. I stuffed all her clothes into garbage bags. I was about to toss her dirty laundry in with the clean stuff, but my friend stopped me. We finished a little after 11 a.m. Around lunchtime, I bought flowers and chocolates and headed to her job. I handed her the gifts, gave her a big hug and kiss. She was all smiles, blushing like we were newlyweds. Her coworkers were giggling and making "Aw, that's so sweet" gestures. I told her I'd love to take her to lunch, but I had a follow-up appointment to check on my leg. I told her not to make plans for the evening. I wanted to give her a night she'd never forget. I kissed her goodbye and started to walk out. From here on, I'm going to refer to her GM as Fing Tom, or FT for short. As I was leaving, I saw him. I smiled wide and said, "Hey Fing Tom, how are you?" Gave him a cheerful wave and left. I went to grab some lunch. At 2 p.m., a deputy was scheduled to walk into her workplace and serve her divorce papers. At that exact time, I was standing in front of FT's house. I texted him the photo I took the day I caught them together. I also took a fresh selfie right there in front of his place and sent that too. I knocked on the door and Mrs. FT answered. She knows me a little from work events and parties. I told her that my wife and her husband were having an affair. She didn't believe me, so I showed her the first photo I had taken, her husband and my wife making out in our doorway. Then I showed her a selfie they took while my wife was giving him a BJ on my couch. She slapped me across the face. I didn't react. She broke down crying. I handed her a thumb drive with everything I had, photos, videos, texts. I told her to get tested. that my wife had been sleeping with multiple men. I gave her my lawyer's card and my personal number. Then she looked at me through tears and asked, "Why are you doing this to me?" To be honest, I didn't have a good answer. I had hurt her badly, and I felt like trash for it. I told her she deserved to know the truth. It felt like a pathetic answer, but it was the only one I had. As I was walking away, my phone started blowing up. I didn't answer any calls or texts. I just went home. Once I got there, I changed my Facebook status to divorced. Then I started reading her messages. What the fuck is this? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? That kind of crap. I texted her back and told her she could come by the house at 7 p.m. to get her clothes, not 1 minute before. I guess FT didn't tell her what I did right away. He probably had his own mess to deal with. But a little while later, she texted me again, losing her mind. She was furious that I told Mrs. FT everything. So apparently, he did eventually come clean. Then I got a call from Amber, the friend who covered for my wife. I answered. First thing I said was, "How long have you known about my wife and FT?" I told her not to lie to me, and she admitted what I'd suspected all along. They'd been involved since before my wife and I even met. The entire marriage was a lie. I was the side piece the whole time. Let me tell you, that's one hell of a bitter pill to swallow. I asked her why she didn't say anything. She said they thought I'd go ballistic. I reminded her that she knows me better than that. She said she stayed quiet because she was my wife's friend. And I asked her, what about me? Was I nothing? I asked if the roles were reversed. If I knew her husband was cheating, wouldn't she want me to tell her? As a friend? Isn't that what decent people do? She said yes, so I hung up. Then I sent her a batch of photos, ones my wife had taken with her husband, and told her that my lawyer had all of it. I gave her my lawyer's contact info and told her to never reach out to me again. Around 4 p.m., my wife showed up at the house and found out about the new locks. She started banging on the door, yelling. I didn't respond. She tried calling again. I turned my ringer off. Then she smashed a window and left. Around 7 p.m., 2 deputies pulled up and parked out front. One of them had actually helped me move her things earlier. His wife stopped by too, and not long after, my buddy arrived. Right on time, my wife pulled in. She looked subdued, like something had already knocked the wind out of her. I'm pretty sure she'd already had it out with Amber by then. I handed her the garbage bags with her clothes, gave her the key and address to the storage unit, and my lawyer's card. I told her that from now on, all communication would go through my attorney. That's when she started with the "I love you" routine. "We can work this out. I'm sorry. It didn't mean anything. I love you, not them." I didn't say a word, just pointed to my lawyer's card. She then snapped, "It's my house too. You can't just kick me out." I calmly replied, "It's my home, and you literally fucked yourself out of it." That's when she lost it completely. All the "I love yous" turned into "fuck yous" and "I hate yous." She got loud, real loud. The deputies flipped on their lights, and the neighbors began to gather outside to gawk at the train wreck. I stayed calm, hands at my sides the entire time. She kept screaming. I honestly think she might have been drinking. Then the crying started. "I have nowhere to go." And when I told her, "I don't care," that's when she really snapped. I learned something new about my wife that night. She knows how to throw a solid right hook. She clocked me hard, fat lip and a bloody nose. I didn't retaliate. I didn't even move, just stood there. Then she tried scratching my face, and the deputies restrained her. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I declined. I told them to just get her out of here. They filed an incident report, though, so I could get a temporary restraining order. Honestly, I'm glad she hit me. It made things crystal clear. After she left, I went back inside. As I cleaned myself up, everything I should have been feeling for the past 2 months hit me all at once. Exhaustion, grief, rage, emptiness. I thought I'd feel better once everything was finally out in the open, once the truth spilled over and the mask came off. I didn't. I felt like absolute fucking garbage. I'm not someone who cries often, but since last night I've been crying more than I have in years. My phone has nearly 600 unread texts and missed calls now, and it just keeps going up. I've decided I'm going completely no contact with all of our mutual friends. I don't want anyone trying to mediate or fix things. I'll deal with those relationships another time. I didn't even call my son last night, and I always call him before bed. Every night. I'll call him tonight. Honestly, I don't think he'll be too upset about any of this. He was never really fond of her anyway. I met with her and her lawyer today. I didn't get everything I wanted, but I got enough. We signed for an uncontested divorce. It'll be finalized in about 2 months. That's the good news. I feel Relieved, I guess. But mostly I just feel incredibly sad. The whole thing is just tragic. Throughout the entire meeting, she couldn't, or wouldn't, look me in the eye. I'm not going to pretend I know exactly what was going through her head, but part of me wants to believe she just didn't have the guts to look at me. Her lawyer was decent, smart enough to realize he'd been handed a steaming pile of sauerkraut to work with. They asked if reconciliation was on the table. We dangled the idea, even though it's not even remotely possible. That allowed us to ask for full disclosure of everything she'd done. Turns out, her lawyer had already asked her to write it all down. But what she wrote? It was less than what I already knew. She conveniently left out the two guys whose identities I never uncovered. My lawyer then pulled out still images from the camera footage. Who's this? And who's this? Yeah, she hadn't been honest with him either. They asked us to step out. I didn't hear every word, but he definitely didn't sound thrilled. When we came back in, we got a slightly more truthful version. The two unidentified guys? They were recent online hookups. As for FT, she'd been sleeping with him pretty much the entire time I've known her. She said she ended things with him sometime after I proposed, and they didn't reconnect until about a year into our marriage. Do I believe her? Probably not, but I wanted to. I asked if she was ever faithful during our marriage. That's when she told me she started sleeping with FP, my co-worker, Amber's husband, on July 4, 2019. We had a 4th of July barbecue. She gave him a BJ in my house while I was there. She claimed she didn't love him. It was just something she got off on. This past year she got bolder. She started meeting random men from hookup apps. Parking lot meetups too, I'm sure. I didn't push for more details. Didn't want them. I asked the attorneys to give us the room. There were some things I needed to ask her. Alone. Once they left, I asked her the questions I've been screaming inside my head for months. Why? Why did you cheat? Why did you marry me? Why didn't you just say no? She said she loved me. What a fucked up way to show it. She said she wanted to be married. She wanted security. Said I was good in bed. But she's loved FT for over 10 years. He wasn't ever going to leave his wife, and her clock was ticking. So I was just a backup plan, a meal ticket. She told me I made her happy, but that she wanted what she wanted. And in the end, that didn't include me. For those wondering, both she and FT have been fired. Amber blew up at work, so I didn't even have to make a scene. My soon-to-be ex-wife is staying with her parents now. As for FT and Mrs. FT, I've been told it's none of my business. But from what I've heard, he's trying to salvage his marriage. And if he somehow manages to stay married, I swear I might have to give that man a beating. I asked if there was anything else I should know. That's when she dropped one final nuke. She had an abortion 2 years ago, because she didn't know who the father was. That one floored me. In the beginning, we were trying for a baby. Eventually, we just agreed to stop stressing about it and let things happen naturally. I would have loved to have another child, especially a daughter. Someone to spoil rotten. And considering how often we had unprotected sex, there's a damn good chance that baby was mine. But now I'll never know. All I can think is, she killed my child. You can talk about dodging a bullet all you want, but all I feel is grief. If any of you have ever boxed, you'll know what I mean when I say this. There's a point where the punches just keep landing, but you stop feeling them. They're doing damage, but the pain doesn't register anymore. You go numb. That's where I am now. She could tell me she started the Chicago fire, and I wouldn't even blink. I called the lawyers back in and told mine to go to Plan B. That meant taking my alimony request off the table. I want this divorce uncontested, signed, fast-tracked. I thought about playing it clever, asking her to unfotons all those men as a condition for reconciliation. But what's the point? It's not worth the energy. I'm not going to lie. That abortion rattled me. I don't want to be reminded of this woman for the rest of my life, especially not through monthly payments. So at 5:43 p.m., she signed. In 2 months, it'll be finalized. I keep the house, my retirement accounts, all my property. No alimony either way. She gets $73,000 from our savings. She's not to contact me ever again. And we're done. I don't care what happens to her now. I don't care what she does or who she does it with. Honestly, for her own sake, and for anyone she dates in the future, I hope she gets therapy. But me? I'm done giving a damn, and no, I don't feel some great weight lifted off me. I've eaten a big, steaming seitan sandwich, and all I can taste is the bitterness. I haven't felt joy in over 3 months, and I still don't. I don't even see it in my future. That abortion? it won't leave my head. I think it's going to sit there and haunt me for a long, long time. As for what comes next, I don't know. I really don't. Maybe once the papers are official, I'll feel something, maybe not. Right now I just want to be left alone. No more "man, I'm so sorry," or "you'll get through this." None of it. I just want quiet. I've spent this whole time going over everything I've ever done, and all I see are the ways I messed up. I know that's a terrible mindset to be in, but it's where I'm at. At least I got to keep my stuff this time, but I'll tell you this much. I'll never do this again. This might sound dumb, but any tips on how to get a ring off a finger? I play guitar. I'd like to keep all 10 fingers, but this ring's been on my hand for 6 years, and I've tried everything. Olive oil, Crisco, butter, hot water, motor oil, WD-40. I'm starting to eye the toolbox now. I don't want to wear this symbol another day longer, but I'd like to keep my digits. Divorce isn't finalized yet, but the empty house has been getting to me. So, I moved someone new in. She's the cutest little Latina I've ever seen, about 8 inches tall at the shoulder, weighs 5 pounds, and has the most ridiculous underbite. I'm torn between calling her Maggie or high fructose corn syrup because she's so damn sweet. I adopted a 1-year-old Chihuahua from the shelter. I just needed someone who'd be happy to see me when I came home. Today, the divorce decree showed up in the mail. Weirdly, I don't feel much. Not happy. Not sad. Just numb. A few friends wanted to celebrate, but I've never felt like failure is something worth throwing a party over. Honestly, I'm still just waiting for it all to hit me. And then, out of nowhere, she called. "Today," I answered. I figured, what's done is done, so I talked to her. She's more messed up than I am, but she didn't apologize. Just asked, what good would that do? And honestly, I don't even know if she truly regrets what she did. But it doesn't matter anymore. The hard part now is her family. My son, he's as close to having a grandchild as her parents have ever had. He asked me if it's okay to stay in touch with them, and I told him yes, I'm okay with that. But I don't know how I can talk to them without her being involved. That's the tough part. These people just find a way to ruin everything, don't they? I really liked her dad. Her parents were about as close to blood relatives as my son will ever get from my side of the family. Also, quick shout out. Thank you to whoever suggested the name Dulcie for my little dog. It fits perfectly. Rolls right off the tongue. She kept me warm through Snowmageddon, 5 days without power or heat, freezing temps. And she stayed curled up with me the whole time like a little heater. She's been such a trooper. I may take a long break from this place, maybe until I feel ready to date again, or even just casually fish for some companionship. That doubt in the back of my mind. She doesn't love you. She'll leave. She'll break you. It's always been there. Now it's screaming. But for now, I'm okay. That fear of touching the stove twice? That's healthy. I need time, and I'm going to give myself as much of it as I need. To all of you, just because we've been treated like crap doesn't mean we are crap. Stay strong. I love you all. I started therapy in July. There's a lot I'm working through, some of it tied directly to the betrayal, and some of it not. But one thing that's come up again and again is this. I want to reconcile with my sister. She's the last biological family member I've got left. I honestly don't know if I have the guts to do it. I've held a grudge for so damn long. But I want my son to know real family, people who are related to him, not just my friends that we call uncle or aunt. This whole mess cost me a lot, including relationships I should have fought harder to keep. If my cousin's willing to help bridge the gap, I'll talk to her. Yes, I've been a big advocate for cutting people off when they fail you. But it's been almost 3 decades. My parents are gone. My brother is gone. All that's left is my sister. My therapist supports the idea. Now I just need to work up the courage to offer the olive branch. I don't want to carry this grudge forever. I still believe I was right to walk away from them back then. But I also know I don't want to live like this anymore. I've got custody of my son indefinitely, and I want to offer him some kind of family normalcy. I don't miss my ex. I don't miss my first ex either. But I do miss my sister. I've let my first wife dictate so much of my life, even relationships that had nothing to do with her. Sometimes I feel like I'm still haunted by it all. I think if I can get even a small part of what I lost back, maybe I'll be able to move forward again. I'm not stuck on my ex anymore, but I am stuck on my past. And for those wondering, no, I don't know how she's doing. No, I don't care how Amber's doing. She's been scrubbed out of my life like a skid mark in tighty whities. And no, I don't know or give a single damn about those other cheating fools. I have one crap left to give about that entire group of people, and I'm not spending it. In 1 hour, it will be exactly 1 year since I served my ex her walking papers. This morning, I woke up in a genuinely good mood, went for a run, made breakfast for my boy, and headed to work. Everything was normal. Mentally, I was doing fine. Then at 10:30 a.m., I got called up to the front office. Delivery, cookies, from her. Same thing she's done every year. I told the folks at the office they could have them. When the CSR asked who sent them, I just told her straight up. No one had touched the cookies yet. I'm a little pissed that someone told her where I work now. Not a lot of people know, but clearly someone ran their mouth. Other than that, I'm still in a decent headspace. She's got her little ways of poking at me, reminding me she's still out there. Her favorite trick is being late on her car payment. When that happens, the finance company starts calling me. It's her way of jabbing at me without being direct. But this time, I came home to a surprise party. Barbecue, beer, my closest friends. They thought I'd need a boost today. And you know what? They were right. Aside from the cookie stunt, it turned out to be a damn good day. Hell of a way to close this chapter.